Welcome back, everybody. Summer officially arrives this afternoon, so maybe you're dreaming of a vacation. If you don't already have a trip coming up, now is the time to start planning.
Yeah, absolutely. But money, it continues to be tight for a lot of Americans. Trey Bodge, smart shopping expert at TrueTrade.com, is joining us with some help for hopeful travelers to save on their trips. Hey, Trey.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
All right. Why are so many people traveling in the first place, Trey?
Well, if you're like me, we're trying to make up for lost time. Obviously, during the pandemic, we were all trapped in our houses, and now we want to go out there and explore the world. And we're also seeing an interesting phenomenon, especially with younger travelers, Gen Zers, millennials. A recent Bread Financial poll that found that almost 2 in 5 Gen Z and millennials are spending between $500 to $5,000 on concert tickets alone that also relate to a destination. So a lot of people are calling this Swiftflation as it relates to Taylor Swift.
Love it.
So what we're seeing is that younger people are buying these tickets elsewhere and they're planning these trips around that concert. But a lot of these younger people cannot afford these very expensive trips. So I'm a little bit concerned, especially for these younger folks who are experiencing this Swiftflation.
You know, it's interesting, Trey. I've heard of people buying tickets in Paris and across, overseas because it's actually cheaper with the airfare than just getting a single ticket here in the United States to see Taylor Swift.
Well, I'm all for it if they can find a bargain, right? If it's a lower price in Paris and they get to go to Paris at the same time, I'm all about that.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, but is it just too late? I mean, here we are. It's, the first day of summer this afternoon officially. Is it just kind of too late to try to save money when booking travel for this summer?
So that's a great question, Irene. I mean, what I really like is if people plan ahead. However, there are often last minute savings opportunities. So for example, whenever you're booking a trip, you want to use a coupon site to see if you can save a little bit more. CouponCabin.com, who I work with, they have deals on last minute travel, last minute hotel stays, especially up to 60% off with Hotwire. So there is sometimes a benefit to waiting until the last minute. The other thing I would say is the more flexible you are, the better. So what I like to do is go on to Google Flights and I look at my trip with the dates that I had in mind, and then you can kind of move your trip forward a day or back a day, and you can see how that flexibility impacts positively, hopefully, your airfare flight. So that flexibility is really helpful. And then of course, using those coupon sites and travel aggregators to dig around for deals. So it's not too late, but it might take a little homework.
What about accommodations? What are your favorite ways to save there?
Yeah, so especially if you're traveling with a group, which a lot of people do during the summer, I would say don't stay at a hotel unless you can find a great last minute deal. I would do an Airbnb or VRBO because that allows you that whole place that everyone can stay together so you have that quality time. And also most of these vacation rentals have kitchens, which means that you can have at least one meal at home. Obviously you want to be out and about exploring the local cuisine, but if you do at least one meal at home and everyone's staying together, you can save a lot of money that way. So that is always the route that I recommend.
So if money is actually just too tight for a big trip this year, what do you recommend people do?
Okay, so I say don't take that big trip. If you cannot do it, if you are struggling with credit card debt already, or if your budget's really tight, maybe do something like a fun staycation or go on a road trip that is much less expensive, of course, than getting on a plane, and then save for that next big trip. And so an example of this is, a few years ago, my husband and I wanted to go to Honduras. We wanted to go scuba diving. And so what we did is we made our own coffee and tea at home and our own lunches at home instead of doing that at the workplace. And in about 9 months, we had saved enough money to go on that trip to Honduras. So every time we didn't bring our coffee or tea or lunch, we put that money in a jar or ideally in a high yield savings account, and then you're ready to take that trip. And so don't take that trip right now and accrue that debt because you're going to be paying for that for a really long time.
Where can we learn more, Trey?
So I'm sharing savings tips on my Instagram every day at TrueTrey, and you can also find me at TrueTrey.com. I have a bi-monthly newsletter with all of these savings tips as well.
Can you see us, Trey, like we can see you?
I can see you, yes.
Do we look as good as you do?
You look amazing, of course.
All right, just want to make sure. You look terrific.
Yes.
I hope you have a great summer.
Thank you.
She looks ready for summer.
Great to see you.
She looks awesome.
She looks
She's
beautiful.
terrific. We love you, Trey. Take care.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Bye.
All right. Still ahead on Great Day Connecticut. Lace up your sneakers for